Hello and welcome to the Simply Colorful Fibercast. Today's date is April 17th, 2015. My name is Lynn and I'm your host. Welcome back. I hope everyone has had a great week. As we all know, Fibercast is about spending 60 minutes together sewing, and we're going to keep quilting on the camper quilt today. You can see that I'm really missing my buddy here. So if Karen's out there, you're here in spirit, and you have a poster here. If anyone would like to come fill this chair any Friday night, please do. I had so much fun with Karen, and from the sounds of it, everyone out there did too. So thanks for joining. Welcome to another Fibercast. I have so much to tell you and show you. I've been to Des Moines, Iowa and back. What have you been doing? This is, remember the outhouse we did last week? Well, I put it down in the corner, and I looked on the internet and I found a picture of a tent. And here's the picture of the tent. Just a simple tent. So I'm going to add a few different things in addition to the campers. And I actually took a shot. It didn't work really. I took a shot at doing paper piecing. So that goes to show you, you can always just try things and put them away. Anyway, I'm not going to work on this tonight, but I wanted you to see this, and I was even thinking of, and I'm going to do it, is I'm going to do a clothesline. So Eileen, out in California, sent me a note afterward, and she is, again, this is a group project, so we've already done, as everyone can remember, we've done Carrie's license plate on the yellow camper because she loves yellow. We have plans to do a fire that I think Joyce recommended. We have an outhouse that Jean requested, and Eileen suggested roasting marshmallows on the fire, so we're going to do that, and she requested a clothesline. And I thought, what a perfect thing to do is to use this new fabric that Chris gave me at our retreat a few weeks ago, and I'm going to cut out little pieces of that and create a clothesline from the top of the tent down to the back of the outhouse, and then I'll hang some of those. So that's where I'm at. You'll see that the crescent moon is now a more turquoise color, so that it was a darker blue, but I wanted it to go more with the turquoise theme of the rest of the quilt. So it's slow and steady, but I have to tell you, I am ready to get this camper quilt done, or at least all pieced together, so that then I can go back and do some embellishments. And Karen Sweich can show me how to do that when I get to that point. So that's my goal, really, is to power through. And so I have taken my sister's advice. You're very quiet. I had such fun last week, but I have to tell you, I looked back at the video, and I hope I was completely untethered last week. I was just so happy to have Karen here. I must have been revving and going a mile a minute, and the shirts were cute, but they weren't very flattering, to say the least. Anyway, I miss you, Karen, and we had a great time. I can't wait to tell you all about what we did. But let me get started with my paper piecing. That's what I was going to say. Karen taught me a few things. She actually, just like others have told me, is she said it'll go a lot faster if you cut out your pieces ahead of time. So I literally have 3 of the big blocks all cut out, and then if we run out of time, I have more of these geese to do. And then that's it. So we're getting there. We really are getting there. So I thought I'd just power through that. We can chat. Send me email. Let me know what you've been up to. It's still a complicated email address. It's L for my first name, Lynn, and then it's marquedant@gmail.com, and I'll spell it. It's LMARQUE, D as in David, ANT, @gmail.com. So please let me know what you're working on. And there's so many pictures that people have shared, including the orange quilt. Go to Simply Colorful, the mystery quilt along, and you will see the latest mystery quilt. You all inspire me so. In fact, I want to go look at that and show everyone, just in case you didn't see. And they have been the mystery quilt. So remember, this is the Simply Colorful mystery quilt that we did back at the beginning of the year. I just love how they look so different. The red and white to the green and white to black and white. Joyce, I'm not sure everyone has seen Joyce's yet. I have pictures of it. In fact, I have pictures of Joyce on the floor basting it. And they're wonderful pictures. But I don't want to post it until she's ready, and you're going to love what she did with the design. She made it even better. Maybe you did see it when we were at the retreat. So I take that back. You've seen it. But let me go see if I can find, and I don't have my iPad here. What was I thinking? Let's see. This is an awfully little phone to be looking for this. I'm sorry, everyone. Hopefully you're pulling out your projects now. And thinking about if you could have anyone sitting next to you sewing, who would it be? Okay. So let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me come back to this. Well, I can't seem to find it, so let's get sewing. Let's do a red one. I'm going to do this block. Hopefully you can see that. It reads so well in the turquoise and white, and you'll see I've moved it down. And KB, if you're out there, we're waiting for the red one that you're working on to take the place of that red one up there. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to put my stitch count down to 1.7. I'm going to go really small. Even though this isn't completely white, it reads light, so I'm going to use it in the middle because I like it. Hopefully having one little flower in the middle won't be too bad. I think it'll look cute. I actually found a group on Facebook. Oh, and I have to remember to follow my numbers, so I'm going to A2. I found a group on Facebook this week that are fussy cutting quilters. And I thought that was fun. Not that I'm going to do any of it. I have to finish my Hexies and my Dear Jane before I start another project in this one. But it's so neat when they fussy cut fabric and see what they do with it. And if I was really on the ball, and I will do it with these, Karen also tells me that you can do this in flag style and do multiple ones at the same time. So I'm going to do that with those. But I wanted to, and I saw Karen fold the fabric like that. Now, I have my trusty iron that has not fallen on the floor since I last saw you. Always a good thing. Okay. let's do, excuse me, A3. And the lights are good to be able to see through this. Oh, so the band is all ready for tomorrow night's gig, or they will be ready. There are 3 of them downstairs. So Carl, Bob, and Dave Brown are downstairs. They've got their set list all printed out. Of course, Bob's printer broke, so I was printing out a set list before we came on here, and they've got 2 full sets, and then they have these extra songs, so that depending on how things are going, they'll play more. Bob has been practicing. He plays bass, as I think everyone knows, and he has been bringing the bass up and practicing. They usually play in the basement, but this week, by himself, he's been up just strumming with it unplugged. So that's been good. And you know what I'm doing? I goofed already, you guys. See what I did? I put white against white. And what have we learned, if nothing else, at Simply Colorful? Is contrast is king. And you can achieve contrast with value, light and dark, with opposite colors. And these 2 colors are both light and both white. But I have my handy dandy scissors. And I think this is just classic. Okay, so I'm going to keep these. I will definitely reuse these. No, I'll cut that one off. Oh no! Oh no! Karen left us. I'm not going to go pick her up. Hopefully that made you guys laugh and you don't think I'm a wacko. I am a wacko, but that's okay. Not that bad. Okay, better already. Oh, I can't wait to show you this one. So A2, this is contrast. Oh, and Deb sent me a note about how to, you guys all have such good ideas, how to prevent the back of my paper piece, my piece of fabric to fold over. She puts a piece of tape right here at the edge of the feed dogs so that when you slide it under, it doesn't catch. I thought that was a great idea. One I will do, but what's going on with my iron? But I've been away all week, so this is actually the first time I've been sitting down at the machine since I last saw everyone. I hope you all are having good weeks and that spring is, well, let me tell you about Des Moines. Spring has sprung, and it is beautiful there. There are, I saw daffodils, all, you know, the perfect time of spring when they're all up and you can see the color and you can see the promise, and they haven't opened up completely. Who knows, they may have opened up today. I stayed at the Embassy Suites in downtown Des Moines, and it was right across the river from the World Food Prize. And it was the most magnificent building that, come to find out, this is a small world. Come to find out this, I have a small world story for you. Across from where we stayed is an old building, beautiful, and this is where the food prize is. the World Food Prize organization. It used to be the library in town. And look up the Food Prize organization in downtown Des Moines, and you'll see that it's an organization that celebrates, gives grants, has laureates in agriculture, and advances in feeding the world. The grounds are beautiful, and that's where I saw the daffodils. It's just beautiful. Anyway, and at night, we saw it coming back from dinner one night. It was the lights were on, and they didn't have any drapes up, at least on the second floor. It was a 3-story. Turns out there's a big rotunda in the inside, and then when you looked through the windows, you could see all of this big, heavy, looked like mahogany woodwork, big chandeliers. It was built in the early 1900s, come to find out. And it still is there. I guess it's good. People have weddings there. Maybe someone out there knows of it. It's a beautiful building. Anyway, here's my small world story. So, on the way home from Logan Airport yesterday, in my van, my shared van, there was a gentleman who was getting a ride to Marlboro, which is here just around the corner from us. Turns out he is a coin collector, seller, merchant, and he had come in from Omaha, Nebraska. And turns out they had, he'd gotten a new piece of luggage, and of course coins are very heavy, right? And he said they had ruined this new piece of luggage. I guess somehow it had ripped. So he wasn't very happy about that. So we got to talking about that and how long luggage lasts, and he said he's been doing this for many years, and it usually lasts him 6 months, whether it's a good piece of luggage or a bad piece of luggage. And so we struck up a conversation. Well, lo and behold, I kid you not, he was originally from Des Moines, Iowa. He went to Drake University, and he had worked in what is now the Food Prize building when it was a library, and he used to be on the 3rd floor looking up. There were government documents up there. Isn't that a small world? And so I was able to, on my phone, pull up pictures of it and show it to him, and he described the rotunda, and he said it looks really good. It has been rehabbed. And so that was really fun. It gave him something to think back on. Turns out, and it gave me someone interesting to talk to, and I could find out his life story. It turns out that he went to Drake for actuarial studies, and then, sure enough, he went into the insurance business. He worked at an insurer in Des Moines, and then pretty quickly advanced up and went over to Omaha. Yeah, Omaha, Nebraska. And he ended up being a vice president there. And then, many years ago, he got into this coin collecting. And so he was done being a vice president, and he now does this. And he enjoys it. But I thought, what a small world. Isn't that interesting? He said the part of town that we stayed in used to be a little bit seedier. But I tell you, Des Moines was incredibly clean. Lovely people. Just really lovely. So, and I came back, let's see, I left. Well, I had to get up at 2:30 on Monday morning. Who does that? Because I do the shared van, and we had to pick someone else up before we got to Logan. So, and my flight was at 5:40. It was very early, and I went through Detroit. There aren't many direct flights to Des Moines. Okay. You have to be careful as I'm doing this. You'll notice that the numbers aren't in a perfect circle as I might expect. So doesn't that look funny? But I am following the directions. And talking, I might add. If Holly's out there, give me extra credit for that. Okay. She says I'm not a good ad-libber, and she's so right. Okay. One of several interesting things this week was during the seminar. So the seminar, or the conference, was for state government IT directors for the Midwest. So Missouri was there, Iowa, of course, Michigan, Ohio, all sharing best practices about how they're running the computer systems for the states. And of course, all of them are talking about budget deficits and how they're being more creative these days. And I'm sure to goof this up. No, I think I've got it. Missouri talked about the Ferguson incidents that we've all seen in the news, and the rioting and the unrest. And they, unfortunately, saw a lot of cyber attacks and anomalies during that period of time. It was very much, they described the crisis of it. And because, of course, these states now are increasingly managing, or have to manage, the emergency responders networks. And that's where you'll hear of things called FirstNet. It is government policy that's meant to, over time, build a separate emergency responder network. And you can imagine all of the negotiation going on between states and the federal government, and funding, and who's going to do what. But it was very interesting to see this group of people have to react and support the phones, what they've got in place now. And they shared it with the other states, and the other states found it very interesting. All of them, of course, have security initiatives. It's just a very uncertain area. And what they said was, and it makes complete sense, is computer security will never be, it's one of those things that's never done. You just want to keep ahead of what they call the bad actors. And, you know, people are worrying about it, that is for sure. I certainly wish I could sit here and say I have an answer. Part of me, when I imagine what could happen, part of me thinks I just want to go into my little camper and quilt and be oblivious to it all, but I have to be part of it, whatever's going to happen. So, that was Des Moines. Who's out there, by the way? I'm not hearing any dinging. Doesn't this look silly right now? Isn't that interesting? I'm literally doing it in the right order. This is what the back looks like. This is a fun one to make. Let's see who's out there. Maybe I turned off my sounds. Aw, Jean is out there. She says she can't be here. She's at the 300th anniversary for the town of Hopkinton. She has an event. She's raffling off or selling some posters that have been done for the 300th anniversary. She is responsible for a whole year's worth of celebrations in the town. It's really amazing. In fact, one of the things that I thought was neat, I just watched a clip. She and the committee found the first baby that was born in 2015, 300 years since the inception of our town. And they brought them in, gave the baby a bond for her education, and anointed her the first baby of, what, the next century of our town. Bridget's out there getting ready to garden. Yes, I do have sunscreen. brand new. I got it Neutrogena. So tomorrow we can get out there in the hot sun and do a little cleanup. I'm dying to see how muddy it's going to be. Let's see. Let me check email. So no messages. You guys holding out on me? Oh, there you are, everyone. Sharon from Ireland. Hello. Sharon says she just wanted to tell us how much I enjoyed your last 2 shows. Well, thank you. She says, I laughed so much 2 weeks ago when you were with your friends at the retreat. It looked like a great way to spend the weekend. Wish I was there too. It's so fun. And you know what? You can. You can. We do it every March. We can always set up some sort of a retreat, and we can all meet up somewhere. And then she says, last week was a treat too with your sister. She loved the shirts. Thank you. Don't you just love it? I felt like we were in a cockpit here, and we were ready to take off, and we had on our shirts. It was very fun. Just watching you both, I learned a lot. I won't catch your show live, but I will watch it Saturday morning while I machine quilt a baby quilt. She says she's having problems with thread tension, so any tips would be much appreciated. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Love your camper quilt. It looks great. Can't wait to see it finished. Me too. Me too. It's time. We're going to pound this one out in between gardening. And she says, looking forward to seeing what you'll be working on tonight and what I will learn from you. Hope you have a lovely weekend, from Sharon. Well, thank you, Sharon. What a nice note. And I will talk about tension. What I always do is I go back to my sewing machine manual, or I go back to just Google it, and it will tell you to look at your stitching. So stitch something. Let me see. Let me get a plain piece of fabric. This is a classic example of why I used to drive my engineer father crazy, because I can't tell you right now which of the 2 knobs to change. Instead, I will guess, and I have a 50% chance of getting it right, and then if that doesn't work, I'll do the other. Anyway, sew something, and then if you're having tension issues, either the top will be bumpy or it will be pulling through to the back. You don't want that. You want to not see the front stitch on the back and the front. You want it to be even. And actually, before you change any settings, it could be your bobbin isn't fitting quite right in the bobbin area. So maybe try another bobbin. Change your needle. Clean underneath here. So get all of those sort of everyday situations out of the way. I'm sure you've probably already done that. So let's assume you've already done that. Then there are tension knobs. On this machine, I guess it's on the side. On my brother machine, it's usually up in the front here. Oh, here's another tension. Read your manual. Look online. If anyone has any tension issues, send them in. And I will find something and I'll post it for you. Oh, I'm so excited, Sharon. Oh. And if I had my manual right here, I would read it to you. But I don't have it. Sue Norton. She says she found this Dear Jane quilt hanging in a quilt store a few towns over from me. Of course, I picked up some more fat quarters. We'll be watching tonight and maybe working on another block. Oh, Sue. Look, is that inspiring or what? So everyone, this is Sue Norton. And the Dear Jane quilt is behind her, and Sue has been working on her blocks beautifully. Oh, I cannot wait to see. Oh, look at your fat quarters. I love it. That's great. I can't wait to see what you do this weekend. Oh, and she sent 3 blocks she made last week. Also been enjoying the camper quilt. Really love the outhouse. Thank you. Oh, these are beautiful. Okay. So here's the first one. B5 hot cross buns. Now remember, that's only 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And then the next one is B8 water lily. Oh, I love that. You're doing a great job. She has it posted, she has it pinned right next to the picture in the book, in the Dear Jane book. Is it Brenda Papagatis? I'm not sure if I said her name right. And here's the final one. This is lovely too. B4, Chris's soccer field. Oh, I love that print. Love that. Thank you, Sue. Oh, and Lena, hello. She says, so happy it's Friday and we get to sew together. Amen. She says, I'm working on Paper Piece Project, and yes, I do pre-cut. Okay, I'm a believer now. Thanks for Fibercast, she says. I'm going to download. I think this is a picture. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I can't wait to show you guys this. The power of repetition in design. Can you see that? Now I'm going to open it up so that you can see at least one. Those are beautiful. Really nice. Oh, I love that. You know, I may have to do that one. Isn't that great? KB, if you're out there, I bet you'd enjoy that. Oh, thanks for sending that picture, Lena. And thank you, Sharon and Susan. So nice to see that you're out there. And we will talk tension, sewing tension, next week. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going, and I'm looking at the back of my pattern has all of the paper pieces all numbered. So I left off at 8. Here's 9. Okay. This really is like paint by number. And Lena, to your point, with the pieces all cut, it's more enjoyable, I find. It's like having the kit all done. Has anyone put pansies in their garden yet? I might have to break down and get some tomorrow, although I'm not even sure they have them around here yet. I haven't looked. I did see, though, a little mini daffodil in bloom outside near my wall, so it gets nice and sunny there. So that was pretty exciting. A9. And I don't know if... So I'm excited to get outside and get some exercise. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I probably have mentioned it a little bit about my foot ailments. It's really curtailed my walking, even though I still wear my Fitbit and I love this thing, and I do enjoy walking. So, but I've had this plantar fasciitis for a while, and it turns out it was a classic case of doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And I finally learned, you know, it just wouldn't go away. And I went and I bought the same type of brand new sneakers at the same size that I have been wearing for years. New Balance, right? Nice brand name sneakers. I didn't skimp. I thought, okay, these are your feet. You need some good shoes. So I went and got brand new shoes, I thought it got better, but it really didn't. I did the foot ankle brace at night. I still do that. It still wasn't getting better. So then I went and got some Dr. Scholl's inserts. And it was getting a little better, but still, it was still not working. Oh. Then I decided to, probably after my mother made some comment, like, aren't you going to go to the doctor? I forget what she said. She didn't really. Anyway, I decided to go find a shoe store. No, my sister-in-law, Jeannie. So if Jeannie, if you're out there, she had the same thing, and she had great relief with Dansko clogs. So I went and found a Dansko clog retailer, and I went and actually had my feet measured. Turns out I'm half a size bigger on my foot. Turns out I needed more arch support than my New Balance would give me, so I went to a running shoe, an Asics, and I got myself some Dansko clogs. Within a week, it's so much better, I cannot tell you. Oh, and Karen's here. Oh, and I wonder if she saw herself. She says, hi, joining late, just getting back from Williamsport, where I picked up my granddog Riley for a weekend visit. Oh, isn't that good? Beautiful night for a drive. I even saw 2 barn quilts in my travels. Oh, wow. She says they're large painted quilt blocks on the side of a barn. Ooh, I've seen them in pictures. Oh, that's great. Oh, say hi to Riley. That's Alexa's dog. For those of you who might remember Alexa, she is, I'm going to get Karen actually. Alexa's the niece who went to Costa Rica last year. I'm not leaving everyone, I'm just getting Karen. Hopefully she's laughing by now. Karen, I had this up and it fell over. Welcome home. Oh, Williamsport. I bet that took a couple of hours. And I bet Riley's so happy to have company. So, I'm still keep going. It's coming together. Let's see. What have we got here? A 10, 9, 10, oh, A11. This, I forgot. You really do have to pay attention on these. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let me cut this off. I think Karen has replied. Bob was joking with me the other night. He said, you two are going to end up, you're going to have to meet in the middle and broadcast from somewhere in the Poconos. She says, OMG, you kill me. I wish I'd had a color printer, but I didn't. Anyway, A11, A12 now. It's the lower one. Okay. I'm reusing those pieces that we had to cut off when we first started. I've decided I'm going to do lots of seeds this year. I'm going to try my hand at different flowers like cosmos, seeds that I know in the past have come up really well. And I'm going to get like some morning glory seeds in early. And anyway, before the ding, I think I was talking about feet. So, and the reason I was talking about feet was now I'm well enough and I have these new shoes, and I don't care if they get muddy. They'll be mud shoes. I am going to get out there in the gardens and start cleaning up, walk up to the community garden, and we'll see how that goes. You want to set your seams? Sometimes I forget to, but I like, you basically press down before you open it up, and it sets the thread into the fabric, and then when you open it up, just gives a little bit crisper. Oh, this just isn't going to do. We need you in person, KB. Or, like I say, if anyone is in the neighborhood, come sew with me. But you're sewing with me out there, which is great. Can you all believe what we get done in 60 minutes? And then we keep going. Like, if I don't finish this, I will be compelled to finish it before I see you again. So that's a block that I didn't get done, wouldn't have gotten done. A13, A14. I better get this block done. I will. We have the Boston Marathon starting here on Monday. When I flew into Logan yesterday, things were buzzing. You could definitely tell that visitors were starting to come. And I don't mind telling you, there were a lot of skinny people at Logan. 14. 15. This is just crazy the way this thing works. So instead of doing the fourth one across here, now I do another red one down here. And it's fine as long as you just keep track of it. So one thing that I haven't talked about was that we also did, since we last saw you, is we did go into the TD Garden last Saturday night, and we watched the final of the Frozen Four NCAA hockey tournament. And it was a wonderful time. So KB, thank you again to you and Bob for taking us to that great game. I was thinking, it's so exciting to see these college games. It's very similar to the football games that I talk about going to. A15. We're getting there. Okay, A16. Now I close this one up. So it was Boston University against Providence College, believe it or not. And it was just purely by coincidence that there were two New England teams in it. North Dakota, hopefully I have that right, and BU probably should have been the two in the finals. And if anything, BU was probably, see what I just did? I caught that edge, if you can see that. And the Providence College Friars ended up winning. It was a great game. Exciting to the end. And I had never been to the new garden. I remember going to a Celtics game as a kid in the old garden, but the new garden is It was great. I wouldn't say it's as fancy as, it's where the Bruins, Boston Bruins play. It holds maybe, we thought, 18,000. I wouldn't say it's as fancy as Patriot Place, where the Patriots play down in Foxborough, but it worked. And the Zambonis were pretty and clean, and they looked brand new. And tell me, does anyone know why a Zamboni would have 2 seats on it? It's our quiz for the day. Oh, yes, now this is coming together. All of a sudden, it'll start to pop. So that was a 16. Now we'll do a 17. I think even the animals are excited to get outside. Allie has been sniffing around more. Spring is in the air. Okay, then 18. We get to do this one. Don't forget to put your stitch length down when you do these paper piecing. So we did a little research, and I think it was Joyce Long, although I could not find your tweet, who wrote and told us where the crescent moon came from on the outhouses. And KB was right. She knew the folklore about them, the symbols designating male and female potties. And I got a hoot out of the one source that I found. I don't know if it was Wikipedia or something like that. And they basically said, yeah, it was before people could read, the theory was, and there were boys and girls outhouses. And the celestial signs were used. The crescent was for girls, and then either a sun or a star was used for the boys. And the way the folklore goes is the boys' bathrooms weren't kept up. They weren't kept clean, and so they fell in disrepair. And only the girls' bathrooms with the crescents were maintained and beautiful. And over time, the boys just started going into the girls' bathrooms, and that's why you see crescents more often on the outhouses. So the theory goes. So the tale goes. 1920. So thank you for doing the research. And as I say, check out the World Food Prize. And there were 2 main founders. And it was fitting because, of course, Iowa is home to a lot of agriculture in addition to insurance. And the founders' names, of course, Bogard, I think, was one of them. And it was just a beautiful building. Okay, so that is A20. A21 is another one of these. So the next trip is to Alexandria, Virginia. I'm going down next Sunday, so I have a whole week here at home to work and to play. And I go down there Sunday night, and believe it or not, there's a welcome reception Sunday. And then we are giving a customer appreciation. We're doing a customer appreciation event Sunday night from 9 until midnight. We're doing a speakeasy, and anyone who wants to can sing. This is another gathering of state government CIOs, actually. And twice a year they get together and share, not just across the Midwest, but across all of the states. So it's good. One thing I expect to hear about at that event, so this is in Alexandria in a few weeks, is A22, A23, is about open data. For most states, well, so there are streams of data being gathered everywhere, right? We've talked about that before. On our mobile devices, when we go get our licenses renewed, there's data gathered there. Everything we do online is tracked, saved, cataloged, creates a stream of data. Well, governments in this whole movement to be more transparent, which is always a good thing in my opinion. The more we have access to, the more, everyone is held accountable and just has to explain what they're doing and why. Well, this open data, it's available to us as citizens, and you can use that data to feed mobile applications. So I'll give you an example. If in Boston, there is now an application where citizens, if they see a pothole, can go to an application that the city of Boston has made, and you can type in where the pothole is, and that goes in and becomes part of the open data that then informs this application. So we all become citizen highway department workers, right? It makes all of our lives better if we all chip in. And so things like that, restaurant reviews or sanitation records for restaurants. Of course, you get into all sorts of legal issues and ethical issues about what really should be shared versus what can't be shared. It's still the Wild West out there, but almost every state has this open data portal. So just for kicks, like Wisconsin has Open Book Wisconsin, and you can see all their data streams. California has oodles of data streams. And I don't know how I got on that. Oh, in 2 weeks down in Alexandria, I bet we hear more about that. 24. Because as you might imagine, it introduces all sorts of risk for states, towns, counties to do it, but the technology's there. We're citizens, taxpayers are asking for it. So many opportunities. Some states and towns and universities definitely are holding hackathons. And so they will get literally they'll get smart kids or anyone who's interested in a room. Sometimes it's on a Saturday. Sometimes they'll provide beer. And literally they're given these data streams and they say, go make an app. What can you do? What can you tell me about all of this flow of data that is interesting, would be useful? Anyway, how did I get onto that? Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this right. We're so close to a finished block. Who's out there? Okay, I'll check my email 1 second. We are getting really close to having a block done. Oh, and you know what I forgot to bring up? Remember I mentioned I got some yarn and a pattern for a Downton Abbey hat, which is, as Becky would say, it's just marketing, and it is. But I'm almost done. So I will show you next week. 25, 26. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, ooh. Hopefully I can finish this before we have to call it. Speed demoning. Oh, I didn't even set the seam. I just want you to see what this looks like. 26, 27. Okay. And thank you to everyone who taught me how to cut my pieces ahead of time. So much more fun. $27, $28. I cannot believe how fast an hour goes, you guys. I hope you all, or I hope many of you enjoy some nice weather this weekend. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get it completely done, but you can get the idea. Isn't that fun? And that middle piece is a little flower, that little dot. So for good or bad, that will be right in the center. Let's see who's out there. And we'll have to call it. But first, let's see who's out there. Hey! Aw, Sandra's out there. Fun Fibercast Friday. Here is the NICU Challenge Hat number 4 in process. She says, I had a busy week, haven't done any sewing. Hope to get motivated by watching you. Have fun. Have a great weekend. Sandra in warm and wet Mississippi. Oh, I love that. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. Baby hat number 4. Good job. You crank these out. Thanks for joining, and I hope you're motivated. You being there motivates me. Let's see. Oh, Allison in Australia. She says hi. She's working on a caravan block today for a cushion. Still thinking about what blocks to put in between my caravan quilt. Don't think I'll do paper piecing, but I may change my mind. I found an easy pick for a fireplace to include on the quilt. Just need to tweak it. Attached are 2 of the blocks I worked on this last week or so for a snapshot block of the month. Oh, look at you. Oh, a teapot. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love the star in the middle. Oh, thank goodness for this new phone. Oh, stop it. You guys have to see this. It's a sewing machine. Oh, I love it. I love that. That's on my list. And the green spool of thread. I love that. Thank you, Allison, for sending that. Oh, no. Someone was watching until the laptop shut down for updates. Uh-oh. Hello, Marquet. Hi. She says hello to you and everyone. She says hi. Just got back in, been gone all day, just catching the last of Fibercast. Love the paper piecing, and I will send you a link on it. Have a great weekend. Marquet. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you're back in. I hope things are cleaning up after your flood, and that if you've been out and about, maybe spring has sprung, you're feeling a little bit more like working on one of your vintage machines. That might be fun. Well, I'm so glad you joined us, Marquet. And if Norma's out there, hi to Norma too. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Thank you for your emails and commenting. And thank you for spending another hour with me. I had so much fun. I always do. Keep on piecing. I'll make progress. I'll post my progress. And I'll see you back here next Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tell a friend. Bye, everyone.